He's after my orange. Loving it. There you go, the wild wallabies like the oranges too. Alright, so here we are with the Jabuticaba. No, Jabuticaba. Jabuticaba. Okay, so you can see that the fruit grows off the tree actual stem or trunk. It's not growing, you know, well actually all fruit sort of does, doesn't it? But you know, it's growing directly from the trunk and not hanging down and stuff like that like many other fruits. So anyway, that's the Jabuticaba tree. Now, I know, Melissa, I told you I wasn't going to make the video for a while because I couldn't afford it, but I just went shopping, and at a little store outside of town I saw this one for $16, and that was actually half of the price of the one, the other tree of this sort that I found in the organic store at Murwillumbah. And that organic store is the store I showed you in Alana Pratha's video, the Alana Pratha $30 Bandit. So I'm going to plant it here, so I'll just show you the context of where I'm putting it. So I'm going to go ahead and put it just there, because the idea of a food forest is to create a canopy. So there's a pawpaw, or I think they call it papaya in America, a pawpaw tree, and then right next to me here we've got a really dangly looking lemon tree. And also with this, the people say it needs more food. No, in my opinion all it needs is more water, and you know, it'll start to manufacture its own chemicals and stuff. It will get nutrients eventually from having big long roots. That's what plants do. So don't worry about feeding it so much food, it just needs a lot of water, which will happen when you have a canopy here. You know, when you have other trees here and it's like fighting for a canopy. So the idea is to have a canopy here, and it would shade out, you know, all of this, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th row here. And then, you know, this wouldn't be such a dead zone right in the sun all day, because it would have a bit of shade, and then you could plant stuff there, would shade out the next row a bit, and so on. So you can see what I've got going already. A couple of rows, there's plants up the back there. I'll show you in, look out for the video after. There's a before and after video of my 2014 abode, which is here. The after video meaning after I attacked the place of plants. And so, you know, I'm not going to stay here forever. This isn't my house, I'm just renting. So the thing is, I've got no choice but to go with the, you know, the ideal plan of making a canopy and shading out this area here. And you know, it's said that a society grows great when old men plant trees whose shade they will never sit in. Well, it grows even greater if young men do the same thing. So yeah, so I'm going to put that guy there. He'll grow, you know, about that tall. Maybe a bit taller, I'm not too sure. But, you know, it's going to start to make shade here. There's also over there, over in that tuft of weeds over there, there's actually a kumquat tree. It's really, really small because I accidentally cut it while whippersnippering, but it's coming back. So then, you know, that over there is gonna, you know, it's gonna bush up quite large. The kumquat trees can get quite large, and then there's gonna be this, and then you're gonna have that, and so we're gonna start to get a bit of shade in this area. A bit of shade's gonna be cast over there, and that's the way we build a food forest, you know. And that also makes natural compost, because, you know, you've got your carbon, and then you've got your nitrogen leaves. So, you know, trees lose their leaves and they lose their branches eventually, and you get a natural composting effect. So all through here, eventually you could plant greens, and you can make the thing self-sustainable like a forest. So this is the way I'm approaching it, and I think this is the way to do it everywhere, you know, make a food forest, because it's naturally how the forest grows. You can see, you know, not over there, but down there, there's a canopy, you know, where all the trees are fighting for the top of the sunlight, and, you know, they lose lower branches then, and so you get your composting effect. So yeah, anyway, we're going to go check the nutrition of this thing. Now, the downfall of this tree here, the Jabuticaba, is those little fruits there. There's not that much actual fruit to them, I hear. I hear that it's like a big seed in the middle, or a big pit. So, you know, it's not the best, but we want genetic diversity, and we want to have a nice diverse garden, not just to keep genetic diversity alive, because it's cool and it's interesting and amusing, and, you know. So yeah, it's just another one to add, and it also adds new and different nutrients to your diet, and we're about to go on the internet to see what nutritional value this little tree has. So thanks a lot, Melissa. And yeah, it just goes to show you, if you look on the outskirts of town and little startup sort of companies, you can get a much better deal sometimes, because that organic store in Murwillumbah, no wonder they had double the price, because they're probably paying twice the rent for the property. So, you know, have a look around. Don't just go to, you know, the biggest store who has, you know, the monopoly, because it doesn't mean necessarily they've got the cheapest plants, and I've just proved that today. So let's go on the internet and check the nutritional value. And thanks, Melissa, for donating. Hey, you really helped me through a week or two back there a month or so ago. So thanks for that. And anybody can donate to the $30 Bandit series. Usually I'll try and plant a perennial, a tree or plant that lives longer than biennial or annual. And you know, sometimes I want to do annual plants, just because, you know, like parsley and stuff, those videos I made, I knew that they'd be nutritionally dense, and I wanted to prove to everyone and show everyone exactly how nutritionally dense they are. So let's check the nutritional density and value of this one. You know, we just want to plant different styles of plants, because they all build up next to each other, even if it's not just a like orange that you can eat the whole fruit. You know, you should be eating your oranges with the skins on, because the little white part on the outside of the inner part, so just on the inside of the skin, that's anti-cancerous on an orange and lemon, and very anti-cancerous, and there's special compounds in there. Now, you know, obviously we want to just get different nutrients going, because it'll be good for our brains to have eclectic nutrients, you know. And, you know, things evolve. You know, it's like the environment touches itself, you know. For instance, you've got koala bears that eat eucalypt leaves here in Australia, and, you know, that's a poison in other cases, yet this thing's living on it, a koala's living on it. So it's the same thing that scientists have found life living on arsenic. So on arsenic. So everything adapts, and, you know, it's probably good for us to have a very diverse diet, in my opinion. So it's not just about keeping the plant genetic diversity, which we want, just, you know, it's like inbreeding. We don't inbreed in our population, do we? So, you know, why have the plants in an inward diversification and inbreeding? So, and you know, we just want to keep the diversity alive. So definitely, you know, GMO crops that have, like, you know, killer seed technology, and they kill other crops off, and, you know, aren't good for the environment. We don't want to release them, obviously. We learned that in Australia here with the cane toad. The cane toads came over to, I think, eat the cane bugs or something that we released, and, you know, and then, you know, they took over. So they kept releasing things, and they've become problems. And, you know, the cane toads are eating their way across Australia. It's not good. you know, we always just want to keep the diversity alive, but also for our brains and for our evolution, you know. To have a lot of different nutrients will be good for our brain, because as you get less and less nutrients, you get less and less receptorites on your cells. So each cell gets less and less diverse, and you know, you're made up of these cells. So Jabuticaba, or Plinia cauliflora, is a fruit-bearing tree in the family Myrtaceae, native to Minas Gerais and Sao Paulo states in southeastern Brazil. Other common names include Brazilian grape tree, Jabuticaba, okay, slightly different spelling, Jabutica, Jabuticaberia, Guapero, Guapuru, Hivapuru, Sabara, and some other name that I'm not pronouncing. So today's $30 Bandit video is compliments of Melissa. Thanks for donating, Melissa, and interestingly enough, as I thought in the garden, this does have something unique to itself, and is another great reason we want to keep genetic diversity alive, because some plants have their own special chemicals and compounds, such as this one, as we'll get to soon. Traditionally, an astringent decoction of the sun-dried skins of the fruit has been used as a treatment for hemoptysis, asthma, diarrhea, and gargled for chronic inflammation of the tonsils. Several potent antioxidant and anti-inflammatory, anti-cancer compounds have been isolated from the fruit. One that is unique to the fruit is Jabuticaba. So let's take a look at that one in a new tab. So this is unique to this tree, and let's see. Yeah. Come on, internet. Stone Age internet. Ugh. Okay, so I just typed that into Google. So there's a few articles coming up on this compound, Jabuticaba, which is in the Jabuticaba tree. I think it might be an antioxidant, but yeah, it's a depside, and there's also these things, anthocyanins or anthocyanins in the Jabuticaba or Jabuticaba. Seems the name keeps changing. I think this is one I saw before and I've also got, but I'll just have a look if it's the same article. A new depside, Jabuticaba, so it's a depside, together with 17 known compounds, were isolated from the fruit of Jabuticaba. Yep, the same one, Medicinal cauliflora. The structure of one was elucidated by spectroscopic data interpretation. Known compounds were identified by comparison of their spectroscopic data with literature values, or by comparison to authentic standards.
compound 1 and related depsides. So you can see all the different things there. Tyrhydrophenolacetic acid significantly inhibited chemokine interleukin production before and after cigarette smoke treatment of cells. So it's stopping what sounds like to be some sort of cancer. Yeah, colon cancer down here. Compound 1 was cytotoxic in the exhibited anti-radical activity in the assay. 2 anthocyanins, cyanidine 3-glucoside and delphinidine 3-glucoside also showed good activity in these assays. So there's 17 known compounds were isolated, so there you go. All looking pretty good so far from what we can read and what else I've read on the side. They look anti-cancerous and all that, like I read out before. Antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, anti-cancer compounds. And so it's a depside. A depside, is a type of polyphenolic compound composed of 2 or more monocyclical aromatic units linked by an ester bond or ester. Depsides are most often found in lichens or lichens, and a lichen is, one of those primitive sort of forms of plant life, but have also been isolated in higher plants, these depsides, including species of Ericacea, Lamicacea, Paparavacea, and Myrtacea. Okay, interesting. If you want to look into that further, be my guest. So I just wanted to have a quick look over what that was. So it's a phenolic compound. Okay, grafted plants may bear fruit in 5 years. Seed grown trees may take 10 to 20 years to bear the fruit though, so it might be worth grafting it instead of growing it from seed. Though their slow growth and small size when immature make them popular as bonsai or container ornamental plants in temperate regions. Jabuticabas are fairly adaptable to various kinds of growing conditions, tolerating sand or rich topsoil. They are intolerant of salty soil or salt spray. They are tolerant of mild drought, though fruit production may be reduced and irrigation will be required in extended or severe droughts. That was all from Wikipedia, that top bit. Another article, common names: Jabuticaba, Gopera, Gopuru, Hivapuru, Sabara, and that one. Species, we've read that. So there's a couple there. Muricarea cauliflora, which is the one I've got, and the one I think out of the picture above. M. jabogotaberg, M. Tennellberg, M. trunciflora. So there's a couple of different ones. Related species: guava berry, rum berry, yellow jaboticaba, camu camo, blue grape. They're all relatives or related species. Distant affinity plants to the jaboticaba are Eugeneus or Eugenia spp, feijoas, and guavas. So distant affinity with feijoa and guavas. This evergreen reaches a height of 10 to 15 feet in California, the Jabuticaba, and 12 to 45 feet in Brazil, depending on the species. So it seems to reach much bigger in the native Brazilian Amazon. Not surprised, because you've got all the you've got the best soil, you've got all of the circles of life going. The whole forest is a sort of machine, that keeps pumping out, well, complexity, I guess, but you know, more and more compounds, and it all synergizes, you know, and it creates synergism more than just the sum of its parts. That's what a forest seems to do. It seems to be a literal sort of perpetual motion machine once it gets going. And that's why we want to create food forests, because then we can have perpetual motion and synergistic, which means, you know, more than the sum of its parts. Not just 1 + 1 = 2, it means 1 + 1 = 3 or 4 or 5. That's what synergism means to me, at least. So, you know, food forests can be these sort of synergistic, perpetual motion sort of machines. And, you know, I'm not surprised they grow bigger in the Brazilian Amazon, because it's all there. You know, you've got every species, which means you've got each layer of sound sorted out. You know, each species adds a new vibration to the forest, and new sound, new pitch, and etc. Anyway, let's keep going. So propagation, most seeds are polyembryonic, producing a plant that is true or close to the parent plant. So that's polyembryonic, and it produces a plant that is true or close to the parent plant. The seeds germinate in about 1 month. A suggested potting mixture is 2 parts peat, 2 parts coarse sand, and 1 part coarse perlite, wood shavings or compost. So just some light soil at the beginning. Selected strains can be reproduced by inarcing, approach grafting, or air layering. Budding is not easily accomplished because of the thinness of the bark and the hardness of the wood. Veneer or side grafts are fairly successful. The grafted plant will fruit considerably earlier than a seedling, as we have already mentioned. One may expect a grafted plant to produce fruit within 3 years, this guy says. It can take from 8 to 15 years for a seedling to mature into a fruiting tree. So yeah, once again, it seems worth grafting, this one, for sure. You can cut 3/4 of the time off. It's worth it. It is this very slow growth that has kept this plant from becoming as popular as it deserves to be. Grafting older trees over to a different variety is inadvisable, because it is the trunk and inner branches which produce the fruit. So grafting older trees over to a different variety is not advisable. It's the trunk that produces the fruit, as we can see there, just going directly from the trunk. Okay, medicinal use of Jabuticaba, the treatment for hemoptysis, asthma, diarrhea, and dysentery, also as a gargle for chronic inflammation of the tonsils, by the caustic decoction of the sun-dry skins, is agreed in Brazil. So that's how to do it, they reckon. Such use of fruit also may lead to excessive consumption of tannin. The fruit of Jabuticaba contain compounds similar to have known positive biological effects in cranberries. So it's not in really good English, but it's saying it has the same effects as cranberries, grapes, and other related species, including anti-aging, anti-inflammatory, and antioxidant qualities. From that link. Now, I found a science article here with a good little abstract, and you had to pay to get the article. I think we might have been able to worm our way into finding the full text. Let's have a look. It did say here, get full text elsewhere. Let's have a go. What's going on here? Yeah, search them. So I'm not sure if we can, I think you have to pay to get the article. It might be coming up here. But no, you need to pay to get this whole article, but let's read the abstract anyway. Okay, from this abstract, many edible dark-colored fruits rich in anthocyanins are thought to be important for human health. Jabuticaba, Mercaria cauliflora fruit, native to Brazil, is a pleasant-tasting dark-colored fruit and a rich source of a wide variety of phenolic compounds, including flavonoids, anthocyanins or cyanins, tannins, phenolic acids, as well as less well-known polyphenols like dipeptides. These dietary phenolics and polyphenols are important natural products, most of them having human health benefits, such as treating or preventing chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, diabetes, cancer, cardiovascular diseases, and stroke. In the past decade, there has been an increase in the number of publications about Jabuticaba. This review will discuss the morphology, taxonomy, nutritional composition, and use of the edible parts of Jabuticaba, peel and pulp. In addition, an exhaustive survey of this fruit's secondary products, including volatiles, so volatile oils, anthocyanins and other phenolics, is included and related to the ethnobotanical use of this plant in Brazil and implications of these compounds to human health. Optimization of extraction focusing on bioactive constituents from this fruit will be discussed, and prospects and challenges of future Jabuticaba studies are pointed out. So it produces a dark-coloured fruit rich in phenolic compounds, among which we can highlight the anthocyanins or cyanins, anthocyanins and also anthocyanins are the most abundant type of flavonoid, and they are responsible for the blue or purple colour present in blueberries, cherries, grapes, blackberries, and others. In pomegranate juice from the pomegranate plant, for example, anthocyanins are the only fatty acid that is believed to play an important role in the health benefits exerted by this fruit. Apart from the polyphenolic content found on it, and more specifically punicalins, galactic acid, and ellagic acid that act as powerful antioxidants. But in spite, anthocyanins play a very important role in the health benefits exerted by Mercaria cauliflora, the Jabuticaba. There is another active constituent present on this fruit, a dipeptide known as jaboticabin, which we discussed already, which may also play an even more important role on the health benefits of this fruit because of dipeptides exert antibiotic and anti-HIV, antioxidant and anti-proliferative activity. That was from that herb encyclopedia link. And there's another article here. Another article published by NIH reinforces the health benefits of consuming Jabo fruits in their entirety, skin, seed, flesh, for the health benefits. reinforces the high antioxidant content of the skins. That article is there. That was I found on another forum. So there you go. It's turned up a new depth side. They found a new depth side in here, and so that's good to see. That's why we want to keep genetic diversity alive, because some of them contain special compounds. So that was on the Your Natural Paradise page, notes page. It's just one of the back pages of the main page. That's Your Natural Paradise in consciousazine.com. And if you want to go back there, you can just press down the bottom anyway, back to consciousazine, and it takes you to the front page anyway. So here's the front page of Your Natural Paradise. In case you guys haven't been looking at the website, it's pretty full. Wait for it to fully load. That's only half of it there. Eventually it'll load at least twice that amount. My internet's in a bad position right now. Anyway, the front page is huge. If only my internet would work. Yeah, I might get a Wi-Fi adapter in here one day if I can afford it. But thanks a lot, Melissa, for donating, because I'm glad to see another tree with something different in it, and I really think we need to start planting our own food forests everywhere. I mean, not even just on land that we think we own, but just everywhere. And community gardens obviously are really good, because then we can upkeep them, make sure nothing sort of runs too wild in the environment and stuff. But also I do recommend guerrilla growing, especially if they're not going to let us grow everywhere and say people own certain parts of land. Well, then you force guerrilla growing and then you get people like me. Anyway, that page isn't loading because my internet's really not in a good position. I've got to reposition my computer, I think. So that was another episode of the $30 Bandit, and the Jabuticaba tree, very interesting. So it turned up a new depth side, one of these things. Let's just go for images, see if this will load. Yeah, I've got to reconnect. Just want to have a look at a few images on Google Images. So there's some cool images, look at all them. There was a few varieties. Oh, that's right, I do want to go back to one article. The internet's working again, so let's go back to one of the articles, because it had images for... oh, fucking hell. It had images for other types of Jabuticabas, or other related ones. So you can see that they can grow quite a lot in the end. Yeah, here's some green ones. That was another one I saw. Yeah, here we go. On about that third article down, the one before the science abstract, if I go to that, it shows us some cultivars, and this one names these ones here: Branca, Paulista, Raja, Sabara, Ponhema. So they're cultivars there, and you can see them there. And so here's the pictures. Sabara, so a little bit different. Paulista. So what's the difference here? Oh yeah, and it does say that they fruit about 5 to 6 times a season, so it'll just keep coming on. So there's the varieties there. There's Bronca, see that one's green and yellowish. Ponhema, and then Ruja, and they're growing on the end there, like normal fruits. So there you go, there's a few cultivars of them too. So that's the end of today's epic dose and another episode of the $30 Bandit food plant teaching series. Usually I'll try and plant you a perennial plant if you donate, and I really appreciate your donations as I'm very poor money wise and just finishing my degree at university. And thanks guys for donating, everybody who's contributed to the series. So if you're just someone who's listening in and a newbie, you can just YouTube $30 Bandit or consciousazine.com, and it's on the front page, the playlist of the $30 Bandit, and there's probably already 60 or so videos now. So I think I'm in the second year, the end of the second year, and I've made about 60 videos. So enjoy all them and all the information, and feel free to donate through the PayPal button via the front of www.consciousazine.com. This is Benjamin Kallenberg, and thank you. Enjoy.